Hello, every pony. I am Venomous Pie. You guys know me full well as the Pinkie Pie of the group. Welcome to another episode of Bronimaniacs Discuss. I have with me our rarity, Jetta Padawan Danielle. Say hello.
Hello, everyone. How's it going?
We have our Starlight Glimmer, which is Neon Blade.
Heyo, what's up, everyone?
Fluttershy, Little Miss Violet Bloom.
I'm gonna be in the middle territory and hide in the bunker just in case.
Wait, what are you talking about?
We have our Applejack, which is Mosigo.
Hi, I'm Morsigo Cinzento. I'm fucking tired. I woke up just now, so fuck everybody.
And there goes the rating, everyone.
We have our Sunset Shimmer, which is Crimson Starbright.
Hello, pony. I'm here to brighten all of you with smiles.
We have our Twilight, which is Sharpwit.
Insert funny joke here.
Or as Mott says, you're the basic of jokes.
Oi!
Well, you wanted to know my
Anyways, we finally have our Rainbow Dash, which is Kanata.
This episode is 20% cooler than all the other episodes previously in Season 7.
Maybe.
Hashtag not a dash.
I think now we really into it.
You know, I think we should not
Sorry,
dash
sorry.
into conclusions so far, right now.
Anyways, for those who are absent, wait a minute. Faith won't be joining us because she has family over and she wants to hang out with the family. Elite Yoshi is not here because he's in a graduation ceremony at college. So, congrats to him.
Yeah.
Well, I think I think it's good to say that.
Yoshi.
Yeah, I think it's also good to say that congratulations not only to Yoshi's, but to all of his in his class who made it that's far.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fair to say.
But not sure about Casta, and also I want to break this out. I'm not gonna go into full details here, but this entire podcast will be dedicated to Wishkit. And I do. She's doing all right. She's just in a lot of pain, and I wish her a full recovery.
What happened to her?
Okay, I'll explain it real quick. Last Tuesday, Wishkit got involved in a car accident.
Oh, fucking hell.
So,
But just to say, she was in the chat room a couple of minutes ago, so that means she is not in the worst state.
exactly.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
So nothing to worry about that. But she's still in a little bit of pain.
anyways, the episode we'll be talking about today will be Parental Glideance. An episode I can already sense is going to be divisive because of the certain aspects of the episode, which we'll get to in a bit. You know the whole shtick. We go in a random order for what we do like, and then we go the reverse route on what we don't like, and then we will give our final thoughts. So, who will be up first? I'm pretty sure it is going to be Kanata.
Okay, my positive for this episode is the humor in this episode. This is one of the few episodes for me and MLP that every single joke and every single joke in this episode nailed it. From Scootaloo screaming to, Rainbow Dash to the whole, her screaming, Car Celestia's place to break to the whole adding sound effects parents throughout the episode. This was just one of the funniest episodes I've seen in Season 7. And these kind of episodes don't come a lot to well. The humor hits it every single time with me.
Yeah, I do admit that episode was freaking hilarious.
I can't think. There was not one bad like comedy moment or one cringy so there was not one cringy moment when it was trying to be funny when it fact that it wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Alright, anything else?
That's it.
And someone requested to go after you, Kanata, if you don't mind.
All right.
Oh,
okay. Bye.
Okay. Well, one thing I liked about this episode, honestly, I have to say,
say words.
I mean, honestly, the one thing I like about this episode is Scootaloo.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Because Scootaloo was learning something new about her idol, which is seen like a sister figure, and the actions all make sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not to mention also the fact that Scootaloo is the one that kind of got Rainbow Dash to realize her mistake, even though her parents do kind of deserve the yelling a bit.
Oh yeah, we will get into that in a bit.
I'm pretty sure.
Anyway, that's all I have to say, and I'm gonna pass it off to meeny, miny. Never mind. Sorry. Never mind.
Never mind.
Someone else.
Your plan was for naught.
Eeny, meeny, miny, your friend.
Meeny, my. Oh, go fuck
Okay.
yourself.
Toxic Neon.
Did you forget the last word?
I was gonna say Neon, but I think it's fine. I pick someone else if that's okay for you.
I want the timing. That was
Laughing.
perfect timing.
Yeah, perfect timing. It was, who do you pass
Good
it off to,
boss.
Violet?
Okay, since Neon wants to go last, I'll pick Daniel.
Yay! Thank you. Ouch. Headphones just hit me. Alright, yeah, my favorite thing about this episode is also Scootaloo, who, from, like, beginning to end, Scootaloo was really well done in this episode.
Yes.
From the cheering to seeing her just lose it in the biggest fangasm I've ever seen in the show. Oh, all the way to the emotional part where she talked to Rainbow Dash about never having someone talk to her, like cheer her on and stuff like Rainbow Dash's parents have. And up to the ending where we see Rainbow and her parents giving Scootaloo the cheer that she never gotten before. It was just like, this was a really well done episode for Scootaloo. This was Scootaloo at her best. I say one of the best moments in the episode was just hearing Scootaloo talk to Rainbow Dash, and then at the end where she got the cheer at the end.
Yeah, that was really sweet.
Yeah, that's my positive. Scootaloo all the way.
Yeah.
I gotta say though that Scootaloo screaming at the beginning of that episode is gonna be my new alarm clock. It is.
And I don't know if that counts, but I think that she just catapulting herself into Cloudsdale might be her most stupidest but most daredevil plan ever.
Oh,
Also,
Seriously?
also
That
there's
was the
something-
worst?
There's also
No,
something I
but-
noticed that they're kind of doing with Scootaloo so far this season.
Yeah, me too.
They're upgrading her from a chicken to a dog. If you pay
wait,
attention
are
to
you-
her Billy, and then
Are
if
you-
she was in this episode like a dog. So Scootaloo is going from a chicken to a dog.
Are you telling me that? Are you telling
Yeah.
me that Scootaloo went from being a chicken to a bitch?
I would never say that.
Ow.
Okay.
Well,
What I wanted to say about the end scene with the sharing, I think that was somewhat payback from the parents too for the screaming earlier.
Anyway.
At least a little bit.
Let's just hope we don't have any naysayers about this.
Oh. Okay.
I regret nothing.
Even Dr. Wolf would boo at that.
yes.
Yeah.
You know, in fact, I'm getting that one right now. I'm getting that.
Dr. Whoop would boo this entire thing only because I'm in it.
Anyways.
I think you booed this because of my bad puns.
Anyways, who do you pass it off to, Daniel?
Let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny. Venom.
Okay, me? Alright.
Yep.
Okay. What I really love about this episode is the entire first act. The entire scene when Scootaloo is touring Rainbow Dash's parents' house is just freaking hilarious. From Scootaloo's fangasms to her wagging her tail like a dog, which is, by the way, was just so freaking adorable. She just constantly fangasms all the way while she's filling into the school part. It's both hilarious and adorable for Scootaloo. But did I mention that the best part, my favorite part of the episode was the gag with the musical cue with the door.
True.
That was actually a very clever gag.
It was actually very
Oh, yeah.
clever. It was no doubt the funniest thing in the episode.
Oh yeah, that was good.
So yeah, I love the entire first act, both because it's adorable and it's hilarious. In fact, almost the entire episode to me was freaking hilarious. So that's my positives. So I am going to pass it off to Mosigo.
Oh, thank you. What was I going to say? Oh, by the way, I want to mention something that every time that we say a praise to this episode, Bolt just gets dies a little bit inside, so that's also a positive.
Oh god.
Oh goodness.
I'm pretty sure that Konata is also silently agreeing with me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this has turned out great for him. But anyway, well, my positives. I don't have anything in particular other than the whole episode was structured. Because here's the deal: as mean and mean-spirited it was of Rainbow Dash to yell at her parents like that and Scootaloo react the way it did, it was totally within what I believe that would happen. Because, well, let's see, Rainbow Dash is, well, Rainbow Dash, and her parents were being a bit too much. And instead of facing that problem head on, well, I'm going to assume that, or maybe she did face it, but they were too thick-headed to understand. Things boiled out to a surface. And, well, I think even the bad part about the episode was within the character, the structure of the story. So yeah, what I have to say about the episode, it was overall well structured.
Alright, so you think the episode's well
what else?
structured. Okay. Who do you pass it off to?
Yeah. What?
Who do you pass it off to?
I was not finished.
Sorry.
Well,
Wow.
hey,
Impatient you
Wow.
are.
Someone doesn't like
Mosiko.
Mosiko.
Mosiko, to be fair, you're just a diet version of someone, so
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
That's true.
isn't that?
I guess
The diet Aeon of the group.
I don't have enough 9 on me then.
Alright, continue.
Yeah, but anyway, I also do enjoy how basically, in the end, the way that Rainbow Dash decided to make up for her parents by giving them exactly what they wanted. but in a way that
Yeah.
they did not expect ever.
Hmm.
Also, yeah, I do love that the Wonderbolts in these episodes for the first time are not that much of an assholes. They're actually pretty much on Rainbow Dash's side. Like, dude, that's rough.
Did I talk about the comment that was made by a Fleetfoot towards Rainbow Dash's mother?
What now?
You know, when Fleetfoot came to Rainbow Dash's mother and said, "You just raised a great flyer." I was like,
Oh yeah.
did Fleetfoot just say a compliment?
Yeah. But not only that, but throughout all the episode, when they noticed that the parents were being really bad to her, they were like, "Dude, that's rough."
At
To
least,
her.
at least they expressed their concern for Rainbow, and they were actually
Yeah,
very
they are
kind.
like-
They were actually very kind
they-
enough to do that routine at the end for her.
They were like, "Jesus Christ! If I had parents like that, I would want to murder them myself with a rusted cleaver."
Ouch.
Ouch.
But anyway, yeah, that's my point. So
Doc.
let's see, who has not gone out yet?
That would be Shopwit, Neon, who elects to go last, and Crimson.
Okay. Oh well, Neo, you like everything to be your way, don't you? You spoiled little brat. But anyway, Mimi,
What can I say? But you're welcome.
What can I say? Is that you're welcome.
Mimi, Miny, Mo. I wonder where my rubber glove will go. Well,
What?
What?
Okay.
yeah, that was a reference to Kung Po. But anyway,
Just back away slowly.
let's see. Crimson, pick a Crimson. I choose you.
Alright, Crimson, you're up.
Okay, let's see. What positive do I have? And I'm going to back away from that. I ain't touching that with
That's what she said.
Wow.
Okay. Moving on.
Moving on.
All right. Back onto the subject at hand. What really piqued my interest of the episode, well, seeing Rainbow Dash's parents again, because I know they showed Rainbow Dash's parents before because of Rainbow Dash's flashback.
Hmm.
Actually,
Wait,
they
Actually,
did it.
No,
Actually,
they
they
didn't.
The
They did.
speculated Rainbow Dash father, sorry, wasn't this Rainbow Dash father, actually.
Nope.
My headcanon is that might have been like her uncle, maybe, or a relative of hers, like an uncle or a cousin.
Oh, now I know which flashback you're
Yeah.
referring to.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I knew what you were talking about.
That one.
Well,
Yeah, maybe.
okay, but that's not the positive I was aiming for. But my positive was seeing how Scootaloo was actually going up to that cloud house that was in the sky.
Oh, that entire beginning. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Really, Kanata? Really?
What
we
am I
always-
doing in here?
You know what? This is basically the best plan because this is the plan that almost got her killed,
Yeah,
so it's the most daredevil plan
I
ever.
saw how determined Scootaloo was to meet Rainbow Dash's. I guess if you could say they were her parents, probably.
Wait, didn't she meet up them on accident, more or less?
Yeah, she met them by accident.
It's more like convenient.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's more like it's lucky that Equestria has no decent child care service, so this child can endanger herself anytime by catapulting herself into a city that could possibly kill her.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I
A
guess
small
I
mistake
know.
in the calculations, and she might end up far from the clouds then.
Alright,
Okay,
alright,
great.
moving on.
Okay, I got a quick question. Why couldn't Scootaloo just go to Fluttershy and just ask her where Rainbow Dash parents live?
Maybe it didn't cross her mind.
Because if not, we could not have a scene of a little
But that's
killing
what she was
cat.
You know,
trying to
Kanada,
Rainbow Dash's
my answer for that? The same way she didn't thought about the other ways to get to Cloudsdale.
Pretty much.
Well, maybe Scootaloo takes too much after Rainbow Dash, and she's also a dumbass.
Wow. Okay.
Well, all I can say is that I was positive how how Scootaloo was determined to even attempt that stunt, which was kind of something that would have gotten her injured or anything, but she's lucky to be alive.
That's like Scootaloo to do. That's doing that is like something Scootaloo would do.
And besides, they slid down in a hill with a giant rock in the last episode. Is that the least of your problems?
True.
Oh my god, it's a giant rock.
That's kind of a
Oh
giant
no,
rock.
Watch out!
my
Here
flag-
comes Tom!
And
God.
Oh no, my pen is for naught. Now somebody's going to have to scrape my brains off that rock.
anyways,
Alright, since I'm done my positive, who's next?
Shopwit.
Because
Okay.
Neil wants to be last.
Yeah, Neon want to be last, so Shopwit, you're up.
Mm.
Yeah, I was
Okay,
originally.
Dr. Sharpwood's turn.
Thank you. Yeah, originally I was about to say that Wonderballs are kinda nicer in this episode. I mean, kinda, but not quite. But Daniel reminded me about the fact, flashback from the that one tournament or whatever that was.
Oh, oh yeah, that flashback.
The Derpy as a best flyer, and Lightning Dust,
Oh!
and Spitfire, and all of the Wonderballs.
Conveniently
Oh, yeah.
enough.
That was actually interesting touch.
Mm-hmm. You know what's even?
Yeah.
Also,
You know what's even?
which also spawns a little bit of a continuity issue, but that's not positive.
You want to know? You want to know what's really interesting about that flashback? Have you-
Derpy's eyes.
Yeah, have you noticed that every time the flashback progresses forward, as Derpy goes down in the rankings, her eyes become more crossed.
Go, fanfiction writer! Fill that gap!
Exactly.
You know what? I think we now figure out all along. Now we are extended.
I'm wondering if I'm
Well-
wondering though, did that part of the flashback take place before or after Rarity's flashback in the Cart Before the Pony where Derpy beat her?
Probably after.
I think, if I remember correctly, Derpy had the crossed eyes in the Rarity flashback, so I think this is happening before.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
but,
right.
but to be
So
but
before,
to be fair, guys, it actually makes sense that her eyes gets more crossed by if she gets worse positions in the end. I
Yeah.
mean, if it wouldn't be otherwise, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's true.
you know what? This is amazing because this all implies that because she was a good flyer, but her eyes became crossed even more. She lost so many times that she went to Ponyville. She won a race for a special placement. She was like, "Yay! I'm #1 again!"
We are #1. Hey.
Oh
fuck you.
gosh.
Race for impact.
Well, time for me to prepare another storm cloud.
Do I need to cast Thunder of... Do I really need to cast Thunder? Really? I can strike
Time to-
down this call if I have to.
Hey, he had problems last time in the call. You couldn't get out his positive for the last time, so cut him some slack.
Anyways.
Don't worry, guys, me and Neon can summon some wind. Zephyr, you know.
Anyways, anything else,
Good
Shopwit?
point.
No, that's all. Neon, tell me what's on your mind.
I knew you would go with that. Well, the reason why I wanted to go last was actually my negative and my positive is somewhat close to together, and it was actually something I realized when I watched the episode for a second time, and that is actually Rainbow Dash Parents itself.
Oh.
On the one side, I'm pretty happy, and I'm really happy that it turned out in a good way in terms of the design from the character of those both, because let's face it, when it comes to direct comparison to some fanfic writers, there's a lot of stuff which can horribly go wrong. I mean, okay, it's not like with Celestia in the first episode where the stakes are way higher, but still. But also, which is my negative on the point is maybe that's because it's reflected on something which I am a little bit guilty of it too, and that is Rainbow Dash said that she didn't told them that she is a Wonderbolt, and you have to think, how long is that already the case? I mean, didn't they ever go in? Didn't they had any contact with each other?
Yeah. I mean, that did require a huge suspension of disbelief.
That's what I mean. I mean, this is actually what I am a little bit guilty of too.
I think when Dash, has meets up with his parents every now and then, even after she became a Wonderbolt, she just never told them. She tried to play up an act like he's still trying to become a Wonderbolt in front of her parents whenever she visited them and everything. Even
but at that point, there's something against it, since Scootaloo kind of told all of the story which Rainbow Dash was involved with the Wonderbolts.
My headcanon is that she moved to Ponyville and she's not keeping contact with her parents, so Rainbow Dash would avoid the burst she got on their parents.
Probably.
Like in this episode.
And
She was trying to avoid such kind of situation, but because they find out she's a Wonderbolt, well, things went south.
Yeah,
That's possible.
That's more or less a little bit the negative point I have against the parents, because in one way or another, I myself and my mom are pretty much both guilty of that mistake too with my sister. Although I have to admit, it's for two reasons. Because A, me and my mom actually moved from one side of Germany to the other, basically from the south to the north. And second, there was a big hiccup with her because of
Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Gesundheit.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, baby.
Because of a misunderstanding with a present my mom was planning on doing. So actually, the last time I heard from my sister was at my last birthday. That means 2016 actually.
Wow. Alright, anything else,
And
Neon?
granted, I didn't. Yeah. No, I think that's everything.
Alright.
But I can say it's somewhat a personal episode for me as well.
Alright.
In one way or another.
Alright, Shopwit?
Okay, now I need to figure out the totally legit negative. Because although it's true that some of the jokes played by her Rainbow Dash parents were really nice, and I actually got some laugh of it, especially with the doors.
Yes.
Some of them made me, especially the more closer to the. I was kind of like, wait.
Chris is like, look,
I don't know if you got it.
Yeah, I got it.
We got it. We got it. I think you might be in love with that DWK a bit too much.
That's pretty much mean in some parts of the Bronimaniacs community.
Yeah, I know.
Brought pretty often. Anyway, fact is, for some of you might find this funny. For me, some of the parents' behavior was cringe, pretty much cringe. Not probably as much cringy as in Newbie Dash, this whole Rainbow Emulator Dash, but it falls pretty close to it.
Rainbow
Emulator Dash, I love that.
Sharp,
That's the new one.
Sharp,
I
let's
used
face
that
it.
name a long time ago.
Sharp, let's face it. It's really difficult to out-cringe Newbie Dash.
Yeah, that's true. And okay,
Seriously?
initially I was afraid this episode is gonna be close to Newbie Dash with this stroll extraction stuff. It's not, luckily, but cringe it's still real for me. And some of the parents' behavior is also even dangerous. I'm pretty much sure that people like Josh will point out that parents brought danger to the show with firing unauthorized
fireworks, yes.
fireworks. Yes,
Yeah.
or
Oh yeah, yeah.
military-
I can get behind that.
or the fact that they uninvited stepped into a military area, kind of military, but still.
Which is actually, if I may add, the first time the show actually pointed that out.
Yeah.
Especially coming from the Wonderbolts.
Yeah.
Shouldn't they have guards to make sure no one can get into those kind of areas?
Not a very good track record.
Anyway,
but to be-
like I
but to
said, this also could cause any danger to Wonderbolts and the parents themselves. And also, they are kind of creeps, if I have to be honest. I mean, some parents are collecting the little stuff, but the diaper or the picture when sleeping or stuff, they're a little bit creeps, if you ask me.
It's just
It
like
feels like the
the
episode was just one small step away from like remember that taking a bath and everything, and the parents just watching them taking a bath and everything. It feels like the episode just one small step away from doing that.
Well, to be fair, it's just like the case with the Meet the Fuckers, the Ben Stiller movie, with the parents having this weird collection of everything he did, including his how do you call the skin of the that is in session of the penis of the baby? I forgot that they have this tradition.
Can we drop that, please?
Okay, but never mind. What I mean is that yeah, it pretty much reminds me of that movie. And if we're going to talk about danger, well, the episode just opened with an arguably disabled child catapulting herself into a city that may or may not kill her in the impact.
Even though it's clouds.
Well, nothing in this world makes any sense, so yeah.
Alright, okay. Crimson had to leave early, but he did say that he didn't have any negatives for the episode. So, that makes sense. So, will C go?
So since you started, continue.
Yep.
Okay, I will. By the way, I do feel that something just died inside of Sharp because he wanted to be more angry than he is at this episode.
To be honest, I was more angry towards the previous episode.
Yeah,
tell.
you wanted to be more angry at this one. You want to fire to keep going, but now he's
And
like,
you know what?
Yeah.
That's not even the peak of my anger. That's not even close to be peak of my anger. It's
Oh,
very
yeah,
far.
Oh god,
Don't
now I know
worry.
what Violet meant with the bunker.
Yep.
Don't worry, Sharp. We'll get our turn with the honest apple. But anyway,
Don't worry, people. My peak of my anger was pretty much around Newbie Dash and Card Before the Ponies.
and
Well,
don't worry, people.
now that I'm actually thinking about it when you're bringing up Newbie Dash again, it seems like that cringe is really running in the family in Rainbow Dash's case. Could it be?
Can I accept it?
MLP, cringy is magic.
I wonder if they taught Rainbow how to do impressions of her friends.
I think that's something that Rainbow Dash picked up from hanging out with Pinkie Pie.
The more and more
Yeah,
I
pretty
want,
much.
the more and more I'm more convinced that the whole Rainbow Dash family line should be nuked. But anyway,
Okay.
But
Ouch.
anyway, my negatives. This is going to sound very backwards because it is, but remember when I said how, despite as harshful as it was, Rainbow Dash yelling at her parents fit with how the whole episode was going? Here's the deal. I think because we never saw Rainbow Dash do any live attempt at talking to her folks before, outside of she like, Mom, Dad, what are you doing here? And anything like that, made that seem a bit too harsh. I mean, sure, we can all assume that maybe in the past she tried to talk to them, but it was no use, so she let it all bottle up. But I think if the episode, she tried to talk to her parents at some point, like while they were cheating her and whatnot, and maybe get some point, some dynamics of how they are like together outside of their fangasming over her own daughter. I think would have made the scene a bit more, how can I say, manageable and make more sense. But since it's not, since we only see Rainbow Dash yell at them, people get so divided the way they are. You get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
we only see the interaction of them gushing over her and she getting annoyed. But then obviously, I mean, I'm not blaming her actions. I think everything she did was reasonable. They getting offended was reasonable. Scootaloo getting disappointed was reasonable. Everything was reasonable, but I think it could have been more satisfying and interesting if we saw interactions with them outside of that. Like, hey, maybe in the middle of them going to this crazy shenanigans of cheering her, she's like, hey, how are you guys? Anything like that. It would make the scene where she that heartbreaking scene of them yelling at them more impactful. That's my only negative, because we only get to see Rainbow Dash angry at her folks, but we don't see the rest. How is their love? Well, we do see it anyway in the photo shoot in the finale, but I wanted to see it more in interaction form before the big fight and the apology.
Alrighty.
Yeah, anyway, I am a nitpicky asshole, so who was left? Who was before me?
That would be me.
Okay, then it's your turn. Be very venomous, will you?
Okay. Let's see. What don't I like about the episode? On that is just really that is really tough for me because much like with Forever Philly, I really can't find anything remotely wrong with the episode. Did it get cringeworthy? At points a little bit, but it didn't get me a proper reaction out of it. And I didn't really have that many problems with this episode, like, at all. I thought it was actually really good. I even liked Rainbow Dash's parents there. Scooter was adorable. It had a good message, and yeah, I thought the episode was just too funny. So really, looks like last time, I really got nothing negative to say.
Huh. Okay.
You know, I think you just killed Balt with that sentence right there.
Anyway, so yeah, I got nothing. Daniel?
Well, as far as negatives go, really the only thing I just have is just a nitpick is at Rainbow Dash, like, not, like, talking, at least trying to explain things to her parents about her, I mean, about them embarrassing her a bit before she snapped at them. I mean, if she had at least tried to politely tell them that they were kind of embarrassing her a bit, then and if they weren't really listening, then yeah, I would have understood her. I think it would have been more sensible for her to yell at them, but she yelled at them without even like trying to tell them that they were kind of embarrassing her. Or so, really, that's just my nitpick at that.
Alright, so Violet?
Okay, so my negative for this episode, honestly, you're gonna be surprised. It's actually Rainbow Dash's wording.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. And I think I know which part you're talking about.
In section.
What was that? You kind of cut out there.
It's not when Rainbow Dash confronted her parents. It's the whole time when Rainbow Dash was with her parents. Like the moment she was talking with Scootaloo for a moment privately, and all the way until that argument and everything.
Oh, okay.
Ah, now I see what you mean.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I see what you mean.
Because it, like, you know, how there's a reason why she does not tell her parents that she was told her parents that she was a Wonderbolt. The way how angry she was to Scootaloo, it sounds like she was waiting until she was the perfect age for her to leave her parents for good. It's like she was planning the entire time. As soon as I reach the specific age, I am leaving my parents for good, and I'm not going to contact them so that there won't be any more crazy in my life. Hence why Rainbow Dash moved to Ponyville on her birthday.
I personally never got that. That's just me.
I never got that impression either.
But I know where Violet is coming from with that. The evidence is pretty hard on that point.
That's actually my headcanon.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I didn't see that.
Yeah, especially with the way Rainbow was talking about how she really doesn't want her parents back as soon as Scootaloo brought them back.
But let's be fair, Violet. When it comes to everything that describes Rainbow Dash, being tact is not one of them. She never had a very good sense of tact.
Yeah. But again, that begs the question.
I'm back.
Which I think one of you probably already said, which is, why didn't Rainbow Dash just confront with her parents sooner? Like, maybe try talk with them a little bit when she was younger?
Yeah.
Well, Violet,
I think she was just waiting for. I think she was just waiting for the right time, but even she didn't even know when was the right time.
Yeah, I got that impression too.
It was like
one of those times. Patience has never been Rainbow Dash's strong point.
It's one of those things to where she knows that one day her parents is going to know, but she doesn't know when to tell her. It always feels like it's always going to be a bad time, and she wanted to prevent snapping. So it's like, how do I tell them? When do I tell them? She didn't know any of the answers from that. She knew this day was coming, but she didn't know it was coming right then and there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually what I meant by it was actually something which I am guilty of too.
Also, let's also consider the fact that we all know how thick-headed Rainbow Dash is. So maybe her parents are just as thick-headed. So maybe she did try to talk sometimes, but they did never listen.
And maybe that's why she decided to leave as soon as she's old enough. That actually is also my headcanon.
Yeah, she's like, you know what? Fuck this house. I'm out of here.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Anything else you want to add, Violet?
No, that's pretty much it.
Alright. Kanata?
Okay, my negative for this episode is it felt like to me that they didn't do enough to really try to find a middle ground as to, showing how much support, to give to someone and how much and when to hold back. It felt like it was either go all in and support every tiny little thing that she does, which will be way too much, or don't have any support at all. I think they should have focused a little bit more on trying to find a center to where, show enough support, to where it's not over the top, but it's just enough, support to help out that person. I feel like the episode didn't do a good enough job with that. I get it that, sometimes that it's best to, have too much support than none at all. I get that, but I felt like the episode should have tried a little harder in trying to find a middle ground as to the amount of support you give to someone. And it felt like with Rainbow Dash's parents, they were there. So it's like it felt like Rainbow Dash's parents actually got the message that they were being too much. When Rainbow Dash's parents said that the performance that they made was kind of embarrassing, only to go over the top once again at the end of the episode when cheering for Scootaloo. So I don't know if they actually learned the lesson or they found a middle ground or not. Because they did say, hey, Scooter never got this amount of support and encouragement. So you can say, hey, they went over the top on purpose to help out and cheer up Scooter and everything because she never got this, and this will be good for her. So I don't know if they actually, remember that his parents learned a lesson about finding a middle ground or not. And I wish the episode just spent a little bit more time trying to find a middle ground instead of just choosing between, okay, have too much support or have none at all.
So
Because I don't like either one of those options. I think there should be a balance. To me, it's a lot. To me, it's a lot like all play and no work, or all work and no play. Neither one of those choices are correct. There needs to be a balance.
I'd be lying if I said. In fact, I actually forgot about the end there, which is, if I really think about it more, that would actually be my one negative, but it doesn't detract the episode in any shape or form. In fact, I think Skulu needed all the support she can get.
I mean, this wasn't like a deal breaker or anything. That was just like the only negative I can think of. Everything else about the episode was amazing, other than that one small negative. So I have to point this out.
Basically, both Kanata and I agree that the ending was too open-ended.
So basically,
I
kind
like
of
the ending, though.
I mean, the ending was nice. It just felt kind of contradictory to where Rainbow Dash. It sounded like Rainbow Dash parents learned their lessons about, sometimes being supportive can be a bad thing. Then only to go 30 seconds later to go, okay, we're just gonna throw it out the window and be too much supportive again for Scootaloo. I get it, and it makes sense, but at the same time, it just leaves you scratching your head going, did Rainbow Dash parents learn anything from
Oh
this?
yeah, that's right. They did not learn anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they did or not. It kind of like leaves it open to where it makes you think, did they? Because it kind of like, it makes you think that they did because of their parents saying that to Rainbow Dash that it could be a little too much embarrassing. I think they actually did a wink at the end, So it kind of makes you think, okay, maybe they did listen to Rainbow Dash and they do know.
Yeah, I agree. And Violet actually brought up a good point. The only way they could have fixed that is that if Rainbow's parents would actually show some sympathy and balanced care when she lost in the flashback, but only got overboard when she finally got the gold. I think that would have saved it.
Yeah, now that you mention it, it's funny because the way that the episode ended, it's more like Rainbow Dash trying to make an apology than learning a lesson.
Yeah, I mean, the ending wasn't bad. I mean, I enjoyed the fact that Scootaloo got all the support because Scootaloo never got the support. So I like that nice touch, but at the same time, it's also a bad thing because it makes you think, okay, did they learn anything from this?
Exactly.
So it's kind of like a double-edged sword there.
Well, actually, I thought that actually as a little bit of a joke ending, like I said before, that it's a little bit of trolling against Scootaloo as well for all the yelling at the beginning of the episode.
I didn't think it was trolling. I thought that was like a legit.
Not intentionally, like with a little piece of salt, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
They were also getting ready for a rock and roll concert.
Also, as a side note to what Konana said, a little bit, because it's connected, I think some people are already saying that this episode proves that Scootaloo is an orphan, which I call ridiculous, because that wasn't said directly. She only said that she never got support, never said she never had parents to support her.
Yeah, it's still open to interpretation as to if she's an orphan or not.
It's still a possibility, but I'm actually kind of glad they're making it subtle and more open and like, okay, were she neglected by her parents or what they did? It's more open to interpretation, and I actually kind of like that.
Yeah, I think one day in the next season or two, we will get a clear answer for that. And when that happens, it's probably gonna be just as deep of an episode as when the CMC got their kitty marks and everything.
Oh, jeez, man, it's just like you getting on my case for believing that the two shooting stars represent Applejack's dead parents.
Yeah, I do remember that. That was when we first met, and actually, I do agree that it could be the case. Yeah, look it back on. Yeah, I actually do agree with you.
Yay! I actually
There's
never,
a sign of the
not-
apocalypse.
I actually never noticed that shooting stars before people pointed out that fact.
Mm-hmm.
By the way,
Anyhow,
yeah, I was going to just say that after that day, Shirley never ever let the rainbows near her class ever again.
That's actually a good point.
yeah, that's actually kind of possible. Anyways, all right, so time for our ratings. So, Leon, what would you give it?
Well, like I said, it is a little bit of a positive impact in that episode for me, but that little bit of that cringe, which is still in the episode, put it down for me. So I think I would go with 4 out of 5.
Alrighty, that sounds
Fair enough.
reasonable. All right, Shopwit.
I give this episode 3 out of 3. Okay, but in all seriousness, I'll give this episode 3.5 out of 5. For me, it's just too much cringe. Wonderbolts are still a little bit jerkish, and there are a few plot holes created by that episode.
Alrighty. Crimson left, but he gave the episode a 5 out of 5. And
Oh, okay.
both Yoshi and Faith Star gave this episode a 4.5.
Okay.
Alright, Bosigo?
I gave it a 4 out of 5, 20% cooler.
I figured you would
Finally,
use that.
so we'll use that meme.
Alright, as for me, I'm gonna give this episode a 5 out of 5. This is actually one of my personal favorite episodes of the season so far, and I get the implications and everything, but it didn't bother me that much, and it didn't bother me at all. I still thought the episode was really funny, and I really do understand what the episode was trying to do. Does it have some flaws? Yeah. Does it get cringeworthy at some points? A little bit. But it wasn't enough for me to detract from the episode in any shape or form. I still thoroughly enjoyed the episode. So, it's another 5 out of 5 for me.
Even though I think with this new conversation with Konata, we do realize that this episode was not as good as we thought.
But, anyways, Daniel?
I give this episode a 5 out of 5.
5.
Overall, I thought this was a really great episode.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
That echoed.
That delayed echo.
Sorry, I forgot about. I turned on the volume in my phone.
Anyway,
Oh, the podcast ruined!
Yeah, that was really good.
I
Anyways,
should have stayed out of that mirror pool.
alright, Violet?
actually, I'm gonna have to agree with Sharpwood. I'm gonna give this a 3.5.
Okay.
Because honestly, even though the episode was cringy moments, there are some parts that do make me laugh. Is the scene with Rainbow Dash's words that kind of bugged me the wrong way. So yeah.
And
I see
Kanata?
where you're coming from.
Okay, I've been debating this whole time on whether I should give it a 4.5 out of 5 or 5 out of 5 because of the negatives that I brought up. And I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. Normally, I would write, normally I would write, this negative, right, bump it down a little, but this is going to be one of those exceptions to where there's a bit of a problem with this episode, but I can overlook it because it has so much good stuff in it. Rainbow Dash's parents, the humor and everything, the story, Scootaloo getting as much development, even though none of us saw that coming, of Scootaloo having as much development throughout the episode. This was just overall just a really fun episode for me to watch. It's not a Mending Fences levels or Hurricane Fluttershy's level of personal episode or enjoyment for me, but it's still an episode that I can just easily go back and watch over and over and over again and not get tired of it and everything. And even though, some people would find some of the moments cringy, when I watched it, I didn't notice any cringy moments for me, personally.
Nice. Alright, so while that was going on, I managed to do the math, and the overall group rating for Parental Glideance is...
Wait, did you also get Crimson's rating in there?
Yes, I did. And,
Okay.
and the final rating is a 4.5 out of 5.
Huh, okay.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yay!
Everything is awesome.
But to be fair, I don't think any of us really disliked the episode.
That is
Yeah,
true.
my dislike is going to come in 2 weeks.
I'm just not a big fan of this episode.
Oh, if Volta were here, he'd tell you differently.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, should I prepare my today's meme for that episode you mentioned?
Yes.
Okay, I will have it on standby.
Alright,
Okay.
so that would be it for Parental Glideance. Thank you so much for joining us on this lovely podcast. Next week's episode is going to be interesting.
Well, time for me to go back into the bunker.
Because the next episode we'll be talking about, it will be hard to say anything.
Oh boy.
For
It
which
doesn't
I will
say
also keep
anything
my
about that
meme.
episode.
That's gonna be interesting. Alright, so thank you so
Oh,
much.
yeah, it'll be interesting, alright.
Anyways, thank you so much for joining us, and I'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
May the force be with you.